Hello and welcome back to Stationers. My name is Bigfoot. We're back playing our new Vulcan save. It is currently day 162. We have a lot to do and no time to do it. Today's episode and what I had planned, well, all that got turned up on its head. Yeah, we got a lot of relearning of things to do today. And, well, speaking of learning, this brings us to today's sponsor, BigfootMSR's tutorial mod. Basically, I've created an in-game tutorial, just like the community walkthroughs that you can find on the current tutorial page. All you have to do is subscribe to the mod and then visit the tutorial page, and you'll see it down there at the bottom with that gold wrench banner indicating that it's a mod. The only one I have in there currently is the greenhouse. Been working on that one for a while, but go ahead and subscribe to it. Let me know how it's going, what you guys think of it, and any improvements that you think need to be made to it. Alright, so the other thing that has changed since you guys have last been here is I have dismantled the majority of the atmospherics patio and moved it to the other side. We have not actually built that. Nothing over there is different. Yeah. It was just a lot of back and forth tediousness, so I didn't subject you guys to that. The other issue that we have is that the devs have now changed all of the gases in the game. Well, they've changed volatiles, I should say. They have added a lot more gases to the game. So the volatiles is now been renamed methane. Most of this, I believe, is the same as far as how that works. However, they've added this new combustion page down here. And we needed methane and oxygen to make fuel, which we would then give a H2 combustor, and it would make water for us. I don't believe that will do that now. It might, but that's what we're going to learn today. The water can be made with mixing methane and ozone and getting water. And this chart kind of leads me to believe that we'll be able to make water without having to use the H2 combustor. But we will see. Now, there are lots of other gases you can use, such as hydrogen. Hydrogen mixed with an assortment of gases, such as oxygen, N2O, or ozone, will make water of varying temperatures. So that can be useful. The other cool one we have is we have Silanol, which is a fancy gas. I'm not sure if they made this one up, but it has a very large temperature range, which we can use to phase change from Venus temperature. The other one that we have is a liquid salt, liquid sodium chloride. It will only exist as a liquid when it's above 333C. If we do, yeah, 333C, so below that it becomes a solid. Obviously that's going to break your pipes. So it's probably not something that you're going to want to use on a colder planet, but Venus would be fine, Vulcan should be fine, provided that you turn it off during the nighttime because it's too cold. So yeah. So those are all some really cool gases. A lot of these are not hooked up yet. They're just kind of in the game, kind of like the hydrogen has been just chilling in the game for a while, and they gave us new updated icons for the gases. So lots of cool stuff to come. Pretty much came out the same night that I had been working on the base, so a lot of that stuff is not balanced yet, and it's all very new, so it's all stuff to check out. I did go ahead and remove the strawberries that were in here. We have a full stack of seeds. Watermelons, I could use one more. Pumpkins, I could use a couple more, but we probably won't last that long. So I need to hook up the pipe and start pumping out the oxygen and hook that up to the other base. But before we do that, let's go ahead over to the other base. Actually, let's go ahead and take that tank with us, and then we'll go over to the other base. Yeah. Okay, so to get this going, I have already hooked it up. Just need to start pumping. Now this is a lot of gas in here, so this is going to be several back and forths trying to transport this over to the other base. But I want to start living over there now. So let's see. I don't think we want to go 10. Let's start with small and see how quickly this fills up. Oh yeah, we can go a lot faster. And that's going to take a minute. Okay. Let's try out our friend Mr. Turbo Pump. Don't expect he's going to be much faster. Put the power on the wrong side. There we go. That way, please. Not go to 100. Let's start at 20. Okay, that's probably good enough. This guy's been pumping away a little while. We ended up with far more nitrogen than we do have oxygen from just the composting. Pretty incredible, because I thought we were making oxygen for a lot longer, but yep, anyway. 16.8 megapascals of oxygen. That's not a whole lot. We still have 105 left in the tank, plus a little bit left in the pipe network. I can just suck that up with my suit canister, and that shouldn't be a problem. So I think what we can do, go ahead and leave that pipe. I'll go ahead and disconnect that pipe. That'll force the little bit that's in there into the tank. And let's go ahead and fly over to the other base. Okay, so we've run into the first issue with this rename, is that all of my airlock code is now broken. So we have an error at line 99. If we take a look at line at 99, we have ratio of volatiles. And if we take a look at our atmospheric tablet, we no longer have volatiles. So gonna have to change that to, I believe, ratio of methane, if I'm not mistaken. But let's take a look at our gas sensor. Yep, it should be ratio methane. So if we change this, ratio methane, and you, ratio methane, then you should be good. Carbon dioxide is still good. All right, now we have our airlock working, and should be good to go on that. Oh, no, don't let out my oxygen, please. Come here, tank. All right, you sit there and behave. Okay, so this setup was for getting the nitrogen from the composter into the nitrogen line. So we have like 8,000 moles of nitrogen. And yep, that pipe is empty, so this can go away. And then we need to connect it over here to the oxygen side. So let's pick you up. Got another guy right there, but we can just deal with this one. I think this is going to have to go that way. You can go on there, and then we'll need a pipe, pump, and have to go in that way. You can move out of the way. Perfect. Grab this pump. It's a pressure regulator, not a pump, so we'll use this pump, and you can go over there. Guess we'll have to connect it in over there. That's fine. That's fine. Let's get rid of these pipes. Okay, we'll go up, up, perfect. Now you need to connect into you. Since we're on that border, this needs to be insulated. And now I need to run a cable. Which, for the moment, since we're just kind of trying to pump oxygen out here. A few more cables, we'll just temporarily put up something here. Now we should be able to just turn this on, turn you up. And that is not doing anything. Connected to gas. We got one of these errors, and it is so hard to walk on anything in this room. So if we disconnect this and we reconnect it, this section is not getting anything. So then if we actually wrench the tank onto the thing, it might work a little better. There it goes. Amazing what happens when you actually do something correctly. Okay, so that's filling up with our oxygen, which means this guy can now be our tank filler. We're going to fill up from the other base as much as we can. If we go this way, nope, up. There we go. Now let's put this at 15 megapascals. That'll allow us to refill our gas tank as needed. Excellent. Oxygen's almost gone. Okay, so we have oxygen over here. I forgot to bring the code. I don't have it on my laptop anymore. Okay, so let me go over and make a copy of the code that we need here so that we can start programming some things. Yeah, we have quite a mess to do. Okay, I shall be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I had to make a detour through, do some mining and stuff before I could come back here. I needed filters for my suit and whatnot. So yeah, that took a little bit of time. All right, now I need a sensor in here, but I have our code. We're gonna put our code on this guy right here. Export you, so now I have you over here. Now, where's that sensor? I need a sensor for this room. And I know I brought over a sensor somewhere. There it is. Sensor. So we can just add this guy right up here. Kind of centralized. It'll work. Now, this guy, I'm not leaving here. Well, I guess he does produce nitrogen, but he also produces methane now from the biomass. We have a look. This used to produce biofuel, or used to produce volatiles and pollutant, but now with the methane, that's the wrong thing anyway. Let's go to composter. It's gonna tell me what it outputs. It is not. Oh yeah, when processing it releases nitrogen and methane, and it requires water to use, but now the methane is not a source of water. So that's a problem. Which means that apart from getting the nitrogen, which is what we were kind of collecting it for anyway, it is now useless. But it's going to consume our water. So I may not bother with you and have to do something else. But we're going to put out our H2 combustor. We're going to hook up some methane and some oxygen and see if we get any water out of it. I don't have high hopes, but we shall see. Okay, let's hook up this guy. Go ahead and plug you in, reset you. You're going to be mad because you need the room sensor set. You should just be the... I think there's an outside sensor on this as well, so let's name you the inside sensor. I could have gone with room sensor as well, which is probably what I should have done. What else you want? You want the outside sensor, okay. Outside sensor. Coolant valve, we should have that on there. Cool AC. Greenhouse cool valve, there it is. CO2 pump we don't have yet. Oxygen filtration, CO2 filtration. We should have CO2 filtration, O2 filtration, CO2 pump. Do we have a CO2 pump yet? Yes, we do. And it's plugged in. Excellent. Good job past me. CO2 pump. If I turn you on, let's reset you again. Room is cooling down because the cooling pipe is cooling down. There's not a lot of gas in here, so let's go ahead and open up our suit and stuff. Build up a little bit of pressure in here. There we go, cooling down nicely. Right, let's get these pipes hooked back up for the nitrogen. Need one more. Okay, it is becoming daytime. Yes. Pretty certain it's becoming daytime. So we're not going to be harvesting any CO2. Did we get any at all last night, or was it too hot? Probably too hot. We don't have any out there. That's fine. Should be done, so I can move you out of the way. Yes, you're done. Turn off, thank you. We'll hang on to that. I don't need you. We don't need you. I will need this guy again, though. But I don't need it here. We have to transport all the hot gas over to the furnace. Yep. Okay, so that's our fuel mix. Ooh, we could use that to test the H2 combustor. Let me grab one of you. Let me grab atmospheric kit. Let me grab pipe utilities. We don't need a gas mixer because that's already a quote-unquote fuel. So I think all we need to do, put you on there. We just turn it on briefly, output a little bit into a pipe utility, and see what we get. That sounds like a plan to me. We're gonna have to fix this airlock too. So you can go there. Yep, our code is good. Import you. So you are now ratio methane. Ratio methane and export you. Bam, there you go. Don't like it when it does that. Recycling. Back to the inside. Go ahead and cancel that. Now we should be able to go back to the outside.
Storm incoming.
Great. Storm's incoming. Fantastic. Any damage? Any damage? Any damage? Yeah. Did get a little bit of fire damage. Any damage to the door? Nope. Okay, well, good enough. We just do our test right here. So if we go here, put our H2 combustor, and put the H2 combustor there. Come on. Not there. That's not a storm. That's just an annoyance. But don't stand in the sun. It's hot. The sun is coming to me. It's like crematoria. I don't want regular pipes. I want insulated pipe. I want... Yep. You like that. You can just go on there. Now I need 2 pipes. Wood. Some cables. And a screwdriver. Good. So now you're done. You go there. You go... Ugh. You go there. Thank you. Oh, I need to connect this. Connect you, connect you. Okay, you're good now. Let's grab that tank. Come here, tank. Come on, come on, come on. Don't have all day. Okay, let's wrench you down. Bam. Alright. We turn this on briefly. And what do we get for an output? No water. Okay. That takes care of that problem. We have our answer. Oh, let's go back inside. Take our fuel tank with us, just because. That's a no good. No way of currently making water. Okay, so while I'm given to think about water and waiting for the solar storm to pass, let's take a look and see what we need in here. So we have our temperature control. Yep, we have our temperature control for our room. We're not controlling the ACs from this chip, so we'll need to bring over another chip and program the AC to turn on. Let's see here, ratio carbon dioxide, so that's controlling the amount of carbon dioxide going into the room. That's still good. Ratio of oxygen will pull out extra oxygen, so that's fine. We're loading into the R10, our outside sensor. The temperature. This is for our grow light. We need to make sure that we have our daylight sensor hooked up. I don't think we do. Okay, so now this is talking about the tank. Now we don't have a tank set on these load batch names. We don't have a tank set for O2 tank because those are the new tank system which don't have a data port. So we're gonna have to put on a pipe analyzer and then set up a cooling valve for our oxygen. So many things to do. Okay, so we're gonna need some pipe analyzers. I don't have enough of them. We do have a heat exchanger for the oxygen. What do I have in the way of pipe analyzers over here? I don't need my mixer. Currently there's no way to do that. I have one pipe analyzer. Okay, after taking a trip back to the other base and forgetting my laptop, so having to run all the way back there again, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, I'm finally back with the AC code. So let's take a look here. So our CO2 filtration is not collecting anything. I think that's because we're trying to read the tank pressures. So let's get an analyzer on here. We just run you down here. Could just run it straight out here. Probably be better. I was just gonna do a line down there and then just have a little upsy daisy for that. But we can just go down. Let me out. Nope. There we go. Okay, let's switch you on. Now you are going to be the CO2 tank. Just call you CO2 analyzer, I guess. Capitalize that for easiness. CO2 analyzer. I'm gonna need one for oxygen and one for nitrogen. I guess I don't need one for methane, like I thought I was going to. So there's that. So we can put our liquid tank here. So at least we can have water, and I don't know what we're going to do about water production, but I guess we'll get there. Okay, what did I do with that chip? Programmable chip, you go there, you go there, you go there. You're giving me an error at line 8. Line 8. Load into R1 outside sensor temperatures, so you are looking for the pin. DB hot AC to D0 and the temperature thingy to D1. Sensor. Temperature sensor. Okay, turn you off. Hot AC is going to be hot conditioner. And you should be outside sensor. On. Okay, now why are you not running? You are not running because it is hot out here, because it is the daytime. Alright, let's go ahead and get rid of this guy. It is hot gas. It's not a lot. Could keep it, but probably not worth it. Okay, that's just going to cool down. We'll just go ahead and grab up our pipe. Good. Now let's drill this guy down. And then a wrench, I think. Yep, and then a drill again. That gets rid of that. Yeah, you could just stay there. Okay, so CO2 filtration. We have our CO2 tank, so we need to hook that up. So we need to basically get CO2 harvesting so that we can get our plants growing. That's our immediate concern. And then cooler should be working effectively. So we'll have some room cooling. It takes care of 2 of our basic needs. Okay, now we need to get the room cooling, the oxygen removal, and somehow get nitrogen pumped into this room. Nitrogen we could probably just take straight up there into this pipe network. Let's go ahead and lay out some pipage. We are going to have to clear all this mess. So if we just do something a little bit like this. Oh, that's just the down wire that I had there, and that's all temporary. That can all go away. Put you back. I still want to swap the wire. Yeah, we'll swap the wire and piping. If I do that, grab up you. Noticing our grow light's not turning on. That's not good, but I think that's because I don't have the daylight sensor hooked up, so it doesn't know what the angles are supposed to be. So I need to make sure that I do that. We go there, we go there, there. Okay, you're all hooked up. I know I could be using the long pipes for this, but I want to be able to expand this later without having to take them all down and cut into a bunch of different pipes. There we go. Alright, now the other thing that I want to do we'll go ahead and take that down. Let's take you down. We can have you there. Now, having the airlock pipe connected to this much larger pipe means that there's a lot more air volume of gas exposed to the vents, so it'll greatly speed up the amount of processing that it can do. Speeding up the airlock. All right, let's go ahead and import you, figure out what our error is. It's at 39. Line 39 is our CO2 pump. And our CO2 pump was disconnected when we did the wiring. So let's reconnect that, and it should be good. There it is. Perfect. Grow light's not working because, well, we just don't have a grow light connected. Just left that. We'll do one of those and one of those. Okay, grow light is on. Where's our daylight sensor? I don't think I put one outside. Might have. Okay, liquid tank, liquid pipes. We'll need some regular pipes. Let's grab up some of you. You're useless to me. You're useless. You can go there. Do 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 do. Let's go outside. And it is starting to cool down. We have not had a chance to test out the ACs yet, but that is coming up. That is fantastic news. Let's get our water tank in place. Whoops. Jumpy, jumpy. That's gonna be a problem. Have to run you over and down. Yeah, because I don't want to leave that space up there. Or I want. Ooh, this is gonna annoy me. This hole's gonna annoy me. Right, now I need to get water over to here, which means I'm gonna have to come out over here. I could put a 3-pipe on there. Yep. Go back to the corner piece. Straight. Probably too big for a 10. Maybe. Yep, too big for a 10. But we can do a 5. Doot. Now you come off and you go that way, so it's gonna come out down this way, out this way. Almost fell in that hole again. Gonna have to go out this way. We'll have to go up one, up this way. I'll need some more pipes and then connect you up to that. Stupid hole. Okay, let's fix these stupid holes I have in the base. Alright, let's grab you and our welder. That takes care of that problem. And then if we come over here, I think this room is small enough, but if this is still considered a world, so if we put this guy, weld that up, now this is a room. Excellent. Which means we can start bringing over the printers and stuff into this room. Still gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that furnace. Was thinking about putting it here. Temporarily. But we shall see. Okay, ACs are working. That is fantastic. You are nice and cold. That is great. I'm not falling in the hole, which is even better. Okay. Things are looking up. Okay, so water is now hooked up. That should go into that pipe up there. Excellent, excellent. I'm gonna need a couple of analyzers. So I need 1, 2, 3, 2 gas ones and 1 liquid one. You're not harvesting. You need to be harvesting. You are CO2 filtration. You are hooked up. Is the outside sensor blocked right there? Is that what the problem is? It shouldn't be. But we can move it. That's going to throw errors in the code everywhere. We rename you outside sensor. This is a new feature that they also added in here, is that the tanks are now renameable, so we at least know what it is. It doesn't rename the whole pipe network though.
Waste tank critical.
So nitrogen, you are oxygen. And then you are CO2 tank. Okay, let's go fix our greenhouse code again. Okay, I did go back and fix the AC outside sensor. Now, this one should be the outside sensor. Yep. Let's reset you, plug you in. Outside sensor, perfect.
Oxygen critical.
Okay, so now I'm gonna need a pump. Gonna need a pump. I know there's a pump around here. There's one in my pocket too, but... Oh, that's a valve. Pump, pump. There you are. That's a valve too. Pump, pump, pump. Pump, pump. There you are. Okay, volume pump. Wait the right direction, please. Thank you. Okay, so this is going to be our nitrogen pump. We need to take up this 3-piece pipe, and we need to... Come on, get out of the way. There we go. Now, you are going to be the nitrogen pump, so we'll name you... into pump. Let's grab some cableage. Conveniently, power is just right there. Alright, now this is still a corner piece, so you've got to be insulated pipes, and then the rest of this can be non-insulated. And if we do a straight 3, and then straight up to the top. Yes. So now we have a look at our code. We can uncomment. We don't need the multiplier. That should be into pump with the space. That's why it wasn't working on the old base. We take this out, export you, put you there. So that should be at 10 because it's trying to increase the pressure. Now if we turn this on, and we turn on our CO2 pump, that should be building up pressure in here.
Hunger caution.
Which is great because then we'll be able to put in our plants. Now, ratio of oxygen in this room is really low, so that's... that's going to affect our numbers. So our ratio right now is actually going to be a lot higher. Right, well, it's pumping. Let's go make sure that CO2 one is turning off. We did not turn off. Which means you're not reading the outside sensor correctly. Now I've got a bunch of really hot CO2, which I didn't want. Okay, let's take a look at our code and see what our CO2 tank is wanting. CO2 pump filter, so we are batch reading. Let's define our O2 partial pressure. So we have 60. If we make oxygen 40%, that is going to be 100%, leaving CO2 with no room. So if we do oxygen at 30, this should be, I think, 0.20. You should be 0.60. And then you should be 0.30. So that's 90 plus that. We do like 15%. Then it'll always be trying to push in more CO2. And then we'll have a vent take out the extra. If I do that real quick, export you, then that means that you should turn off, because we're over our ratios. That's fine. So now, we'll need an active vent to pull. No. It'll just convert the CO2 slowly into the right level. Yeah, so we'll just have 5%, 30, 60, 95. 100%. Yep, that'll work. Okay, I'm surprised I didn't blow up the other base with that not working correctly. But it is working better now, I guess. Okay, let me go get those other pipe analyzers. We'll get those installed. We'll get that set up. And then we should basically have a working greenhouse. This needs to cool down a little bit, but we should be able to grow plants in here. It's got plenty of CO2. Temperature's okay. We do have a grow light. I could bring over some sacrificial plants and plant them and see how they do. But we are going to need water first. Okay, let me run over to the other base and grab some more stuff. Alright, we're back. So I basically cleaned out the rest of the greenhouse over there on the other base. Grabbed our project boxes and filled both of them up with all the goodies that we had. I brought over some sacrificial plants. Let's just go ahead and I guess empty everything out over here. So I brought over everything but the fridge. I'll have to do that later. No idea what that was about. Random explosions. I guess let me go figure out what that was about. Okay, I don't know what all those explosions were about. It kind of happened down in there, which was weird. Kind of makes me a little nervous, not gonna lie. Let's get these guys out. We need to see if we can plant. Anything in you? No, you go there. Airlock probably failed. That's what my guess is. Put oxygen from this room out there. That's probably what it was. That would make sense, because oxygen would fill up that room, it would ignite, blow up into here. Not ideal. Okay, let's open you up. grab you. Put you there, there. Get out of here, you're... That's a problem. Go. Let's grab you back. Now it is currently less total plots than what we had, which is not ideal. So let's move you over here. Before we hook up the water, we can just go ahead and take all these pipes down. Can do something with it a little bit later. If we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, grow light 1, 2, 3. That's fine. 1, 2, 3. Grow light, you should be able to hit those too. 1, 2, 3. So you need to go over one more. Go ahead and do that while we're thinking about it. They're bumping my mouse. It's annoying. All right. Cable cutters, where did you go? Wrong box as usual. Cable cutters really do not like to go back to their home. They really, really hate me trying to put them in their home. Okay, you can come out that way, that way, on. Okay, so you are being commanded on, that's fantastic. So if we go one more, so I'll need to get 4 more of them. That should be fine. You'll be in the way, so we'll have to do a little shenanigans there, but that's okay. And then we could just put you over here. Put you over there, and then we just grab pipes over to here. Just that guy. And then you would be a corner one. Grab that back, grab you guys. So if we go a little something like this. Then we can do pipe there. I'll grab 4 more trays. That should be no problem. I guess now we're ready to see if we can plant. Can put our watermelon in back in there. Where do we have water? We don't have water yet. Let's put our water tank on first before the plants like have a cow. Okay, now you should have water. This row has water, so let's put our watermelon. Let's check out this corner one. You're not complaining. So let's check out You're here, so 1, 2, 3. You should be good. But you are. So if I want to grow something in these last two, I will need another grow light. That's fine. Okay. So we'll let the watermelon grow, I guess, in the corner. We'll plant the rest of this for now to be ferns. Then if I put one there, yeah, you're in darkness. You don't like that. But that's fine. I have another grow light. This guy, I guess I could just put right here. Grab that guy. That sensor's in the way. That vent is going to be in the way. This is just temporary, so for now, this will work fine. Go there, go there. Come on, give me that. Thank you. There and there. Turn that vent. And that'll be fine. Okay, so all of you are thriving. That is fantastic news. We have our greenhouse up and running again.
Waste tank critical.
Let's go ahead and empty that. Feed the plants a little bit. Okay, so now I need to bring over the refrigerator. Oh boy.
Power low.
Put you over there. The water bottle filler we can just put down here at the end. Doop, 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 doop. You're going to be in the way because of the cabling. Kind of don't want to have to walk over all of that stuff to do it. Could put you over there, but then I have to run the cables all over the place. I guess I just put you here. That means I'll have to walk through the farm, but it should be okay. Okay, and then you need to be insulated. There's an insulated one. Because you're on the corner. That's how that'll get water. You can just go there. So we'll cable this guy up. You're not happy because you don't have any water bottles, which is fine. Okay, the water's hooked up. We have oxygen, we have nitrogen, CO2. We can't make water. And this place is an absolute wreck. Because we can't get water, we'll need to hook up our trade stuff over here in this corner. So we'll take out these shelves, hook up trade dish, and get that going. At least then we can trade for water. Because that's at least still a thing. Probably by next episode, we will...
Hunger caution.
They will have adjusted things enough to give us the ability to make water somehow, or at least to get some type of gas, convert methane into ozone, or convert oxygen into ozone via electronic air filtration? I don't know. Something. But I think this is a pretty good spot to wind things down. Let's go back to the other base and take a look at what's going on over there. Okay, so this is what's left of our atmospherics patio, which was at one point a lot of spaghetti. and it is pretty bare bones now. We are out of oxygen over here, I believe, finally. Yep, there's no oxygen left in that tank, so I can pull all of this stuff out now. I don't have any plants remaining in the greenhouse, quote unquote. So we just need to move over the fridge, and we can empty the nitrogen that's in this AC and use that elsewhere. I kind of don't want to lose it. Yeah, and then we can just start taking all this down. I might take all this stuff down off camera. If you guys want to watch it, leave me a comment below, and I will record me doing so. Last big hurdle that we need to do is transfer all this nice hot gas over to the other base and rebuild the furnace somewhere over there, which is going to be a whole to-do thing. I might do that off camera, because you guys have already seen me build all this stuff before, so I don't want to bore you again. But anyway, I think that'll probably do us for today. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Later, everybody.